This is cycle 2 of Wendlers 531 workout, and today I'm focusing on bench press. As you can see, I'm currently doing my warm-up set using, I think that's a 17.5 barbell, just for a nice gentle warm-up, but I did do some previous warm-ups as well, which were shoulder warm-ups, and also did some push-ups as well. So you can see here I'm still on my warm-up set, so I tend to do 3 sets of 5 to 3 rep warm-ups, and this is my last 20 kg warm-up, just the bar. As you can see, I try and get a good grip on the bar before I unrack it, to make sure that I'm gripping quite hard for when I increase in weight eventually. And just really focusing on technique here, and making sure I focus, look up. All the tips I've taken from Ripto Starting Strength. So this, now I've upped the weight to 22.5 kg. Again, this is relatively light. I'm not going crazy with the weight at the moment, given that this is cycle 2, but because I want to jump in weight towards the end of this year, I'm just focusing on increasing it slowly, as mentioned in the book as well, in Wendler's book. Next I move up to 27.5 kgs. Again, this is relatively easy for me, but I just want to build up to a much heavier weight eventually. So nice and slow generally is supposed to do the trick. So again, my feet are quite flat on the floor. I'm wearing bands, and I'm also timing my rest periods as well, because the weight is quite light. I'm only sticking to about 60-second rest period. And this is my final set, which is 30 kgs. See, I'm struggling a bit on my left arm, like I do, but I managed to whack out about 6 reps on here, which I was really happy with. I could have used a spotter at this point. I reckon I could have probably gone for a couple more. I'm also using a gym workout book that I purchased on Amazon, which is a nice easy way of tracking all your workouts. So now I move on to chest press, and you can see here that I'm using a pronated grip, because I've done various chest injuries from doing other things on my chest, and generally overtraining sometimes as well. So I find that this is a bit more easier on my chest. But here I'm using 12 kgs on my first set, and I did actually try 14, but that didn't quite work. So I'm supersetting this with some narrow grip pull downs, as I find that this superset works really well for me. I really enjoy doing it. You can hear some dodgy guy grunting in the background, and there he is. I believe I did about 4 sets of these, well, this superset, before I moved on. But generally I like training chest and back together. I find that the superset really works well for me. And you would have noticed that this isn't the typical accessory lifts from Wendlers 531s either. So I've kind of customized my own, just because I find that this actually works really well for me, and I'll continue doing it until I find I'm not progressing in it anymore. You can actually see here my lovely love handle showing. My body fat's actually quite high at the moment. I think it's between about 25 and 27. And yes, I am on a cut at the moment, keeping my workouts the same, not switching over to this high rep workouts that everyone says that you should switch up. I'm keeping my workouts the same while being on a cut. A cut for me means around sticking to 1,200 calories. I'm tracking it via MyFitnessPal, which has been a really, really good tool. I really recommend it. I'm sticking to, unlike other diets that I've done in the past, I'm actually sticking to eating carbs this time round, and I'm finding it much easier to reduce my calories. I'm not going to do the dramatic fat loss that I always do and then I gain it back. Right, so next I moved on to flies. My technique here is really poor. I tend to do bench flies instead of cable flies, but I thought I would change it a bit. But I think next time I will stick to bench flies because the movement's just much nicer. Here I just look, it just didn't feel as nice as it would have done on a bench. And as you can see, I'm actually bringing the cable in a lot lower in the end part of that position. So next is tricep push down. I actually used to really hate doing this exercise because I used to do it with a rope and it just never felt as smooth as when you do it with that bar. So now that I've started doing it with the bar, I much prefer it. And that's the end of my workout. Time for a 30-minute swim. Okay, right, so now I am preparing my post-workout. So I have my scale here. I have my smart shaker. Oh, it's got some water in there. Smart shaker, zero it off. And then I'm currently using Optimum Nutrition's casein protein powder. It's the banana one, but to be honest with you, I'm only using this because I'm out of my normal weight, and I always find that this scoop is never quite accurate, so I want to get 32 grams on here. So I'm just using this casein up because I've had it for some time, and oh, I've got too much. Right, that's that. 32. To be honest with you, when this runs out, I'm not sure what way. I've been using Reflex for a while, for about 2 years now. It tastes like crap, but it's really easy to drink because it doesn't get very thick. So I'm going to zero that off again, and I'm going to put 5 grams of creatine. And guys, this is actually on sale at Holland & Barrett at the moment for 16 quid. So that is pretty good. So 5 grams of that. Even if you get a bit extra in, they say can't do you any harm. So, but I've got 5 grams. To be honest with you, creatine doesn't really tend to agree with me, so I always make sure I have it with something. Otherwise I get these really funny stomach cramps and I do these really, really bad farts at night. So, and I don't think anyone appreciates it. So I've tried the whole putting creatine in grapefruit and putting creatine and mixing it up with other stuff, but to be honest with you, that brand there, some days I'm fine, some days I'm not. I think it really depends on what I'm eating with the creatine. So I'd rather have a big meal and have creatine than just have it with a protein shake on its own, because my stomach really doesn't like it. I'm now adding some almond breeze. I actually really like this. So this is the unsweetened, low in saturated fat, blah blah blah. 200 milliliters of this. Let me switch this to milliliters. 200 is only 29 calories, which is great. I'll go for 2. I'm actually having to open a new one, and it sucks because this one isn't chilled. So 200. 202. Oh well. Then, and by the way guys, I'm using a smart shaker that I bought for Christmas, and I really wanted a smart shaker, so I was really excited to get one. But recently, what's happened to my smart shaker, which I'll show you. Sometimes it's a pain in the bum to actually open. And what I've done is, because I've closed and opened it so many times, I'm not sure you can see, but there's a gap through the lid, which I'm really annoyed because I really like these shakers. I've used loads of other shakers, and this one's the first one that doesn't actually leak. So I'm going to shake that up. So that's the protein shake done. And by the way, there's no reason why I'm using almond milk besides the fact that I'm dieting down. And for the last couple of months, I've actually been drinking full fat milk, and I was always one of those people that thought, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. No, I just don't like milk. So since I've been drinking full fat milk, I've actually had no problems. So now I'm going on to all brands. So unlike the US, we don't have a cereal called Fiber One or whatever they use. So I try all brand to get my fibre in for the day. So I try and aim for about 20 to 24 grams of fibre on days that I am having carbs in my food. And this is great because I think per 40 grams serving, this actually has 11, don't know if you can see there, but 11 grams of fibre, which is great. And I found that when I've dieted in the past, the first thing to stop is going for your daily dump in the morning. So this is actually nice. I haven't encountered that yet. 40. This is actually a lot of cereal. I'm quite happy with 40 grams of cereal because I don't think I've eaten cereal for the last 3-4 years. So the fact that I can have cereal is like it's a treat for me. I know most people must think I'm nuts, but cereal is a friggin' treat. I love it. I can't believe how much I've missed it from people saying, oh, cereal's really bad. But to be honest with you, I eat eggs and all other kinds of protein, so it's not like I just eat cereal and that's it. This is really thick. I'm a bit worried. I might have to actually add some water to this. I've not made this with my casein before, and it does tend to be quite thick, so I'm just going to add some tap water. And I'm going to remix that again. Oh, that's a bit better. Maybe that's too much water. We'll see. Anywho, I'm going to now just pour that in. Sure, I think I'll drink the rest of it on its own afterwards. So that's my all brand. I haven't actually tried this with creatine in it before, so hopefully I don't have any of those stomach issues I've been talking about. And that's my post-workout meal.